Amazing Black CEO reveals incredible strength after Mockery cancels life-changing 900M deal. The news hit like an electric bolt. Jamal Carter, a 32-year-old black CEO from Memphis, was under fire. His success story was meant to inspire, but instead, it fueled the flames of envy and disdain among his peers. As Jamal sat in his sleek office, the sounds of Memphis, a city of blues, barbecues, and unyielding community spirit wrapped around him like an old blanket. His heart raced, knowing he stood on the cusp of something big. A $900 million deal with a tech conglomerate could change not just his life, but the prospects for countless others looking up to him. Yet, hidden behind the excitement was a growing storm. Social media, once a platform for entrepreneurs like him, transformed into a battlefield. Just another tech bro who thinks he can rise above his roots, they sneered. The mockery cut deep, each tweet another jab at the struggles he overcame. Jamal's childhood in an underserved neighborhood flashed before him. His single mother hustled day and night, her strength a guiding force. "Stay grounded, son," she would remind him, her tired eyes sparkling with hope. Suddenly, success felt like a curse, leaving him teetering on a precipice of doubt. "Jamal, you can't let them get to you," his mentor urged. "You've earned your place. Show them who you are." But the weight of those taunts threatened to layer Jamal in doubt. Every mocking comment on Instagram fueled a burning rage inside him, igniting the memories of his mother's sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the missed dinners, the dreams pinned on his shoulders. As he stood on the edge of a press conference that could redefine his legacy, the noise in his mind grew louder. Should he retaliate? Part of him wanted to lash out, to fight back against the toxic prejudice swirling around him. But another part whispered, a voice as soft as his mother's, that his greater purpose was to uplift, not to lash out. He paced, heart pounding, before making a decision that would shock everyone. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The press conference began with Jamal's heart pounding within his chest. "I'm canceling the deal," he announced, a determined fire sparking in his gaze. Gasps enveloped the room. "Instead, I will be investing in an incubator for young black entrepreneurs in my neighborhood." The words hung in the air like smoke, disbelief and admiration dancing with one another. As the murmurs of disbelief erupted around him, Jamal felt the old anger boiling inside him again. He stepped forward, ready to confront the scornful looks and snide comments. "This isn't just about me," he declared, voice steady. "It's about so many who feel unheard and unseen. I refuse to be just another statistic." And just as he thought he'd found his voice, the noise morphed into a low rumble of doubt and whispers of sabotage. The shadows of prejudice loomed, threatening to snuff out the light he sought to ignite. Would Jamal's fight for empowerment shine through this darkness? The question hung heavily in the air. As Jamal stood there, the atmosphere of the conference room shifted. The initial shock gave way to murmurs, the sound echoed like thunder in his ears. Some faces were filled with admiration, while others wore looks of contempt. He felt it all, a storm of emotions swirling within him. "Do you really think this is going to help?" a voice shouted from the back, laced with skepticism. "It's just a gimmick." That voice stung, echoing the doubts that had plagued Jamal for weeks. Would sacrificing his deal really make a difference? He fought to keep his breathing steady, knowing the weight of his choice. The sneers online had been one thing, but facing opposition in person was an entirely different beast. "Let me tell you what I see," he said, feeling the energy of the room shift as he spoke. "I see barriers that need breaking. I see young creatives with dreams stifled by a system that often overlooks them. I grew up in that world, and I know how hard it is to push through. He caught sight of a young woman in the front row, tears pooling in her eyes. It gave him strength. I don't want to be just successful, he pressed on, his voice rising with passion. I want to create success for others. This incubator will be a place where ideas flourish and voices are empowered. His words hung in the air, resonating with those who craved change. With each passing second, Jamal could feel the tide turning. The initial mockery was fading, replaced by voices of support. "You've got this, Jamal," cheered someone in the crowd, and applause began to ripple through the room. It was a fragile thing, but it was growing. For the first time, Jamal felt the tremors of hope replace the quaking fear. This was bigger than him, it was about creating a legacy. But as the room filled with applause, a familiar voice rang in Jamal's mind, his mother's hopeful words. "Stay strong, son." They echoed like a mantra, urging him not to falter. Why should he shrink in the face of adversity? This was his moment to rise, not just for himself but for those who had come before him and for those who would follow. Yet just as tears of relief threatened to spill over, he remembered the dangers that lurked outside these walls. The naysayers wouldn't just vanish. Rumors could take root, painting him as a fool for relinquishing such a lucrative deal. How would he fend off toxic narratives that could undermine all he hoped to build? As he stepped away from the podium, a knot of anxiety twisted in his stomach. What awaited him outside this room? Conversations around the neighborhood ranged from hopeful to hostile. Could he steer clear of the powerful voices that could dim his dream? Back in his office, after the dust settled, he hunched over his desk, grappling with uncertainty. What if the incubator failed? What if nobody showed up? What if prejudice and doubt snuffed out his light before it could shine brightly? The phone buzzed, snapping him back to reality. It was a notification, a message from his mentor. "Jamal, remember, you're not alone in this fight." He stared at the screen, thoughts swirling. Generating hope in a world shadowed by doubt was no easy task. But with each challenge came the chance for a breakthrough. Didn't he it? Would his conviction stand firm against the trials ahead? With every heartbeat, another question loomed in his mind. What would be the next step in this uncharted journey? Jamal leaned back in his chair, staring blankly at the wall. The words of his mentor hovered in his mind like a beacon of light amid the darkness surrounding him. He had to believe that he was not alone, but doubt crept in like an unwelcome guest. The adrenaline from earlier was fading, and all that remained was a mix of exhaustion and anxiety. His phone buzzed again, this time with a message from a close friend. "You really stirred things up today. Proud of you." It sounded like a compliment, but the nagging thought lingered. What would the naysayers say? Drawing a deep breath, Jamal scrolled through social media, half expecting a flood of support but finding instead a wave of skepticism. The headlines blared, mocking his decision, foolish move or visionary standard. His heart sank. Each comment was another brick in the wall he feared he was building around himself. He pushed the phone away and looked out the window. The busy street below was alive with people hustling toward their ambitions, each of them likely facing struggles of their own. Maybe he wasn't so different after all. With renewed resolve, he stood up and walked over to the bulletin board filled with old photographs and notes of encouragement from friends, family, and his community. Each picture told a story, a reminder of how far he had come. The little girl he once was had never imagined standing here, fighting to create an incubator that could turn dreams into reality. His phone buzzed again. This time it was a video call from his best friend Marcus. "Yo. I just caught the tail end of your speech. Man, you were incredible. Just what people need to hear." Jamal couldn't help but smile, the warmth of Marcus's enthusiasm recharging his spirit. "Thanks, man. But I'm worried about the backlash." Marcus shook his head, indignant. "Forget the haters. You're doing something no one else is, and that's powerful. You're not just fighting for you, you're fighting for all of us. Jamal felt that spark inside him flare up again. It was true, this wasn't a solo fight. He had a community behind him, even if the voices of dissent threatened to drown them out. I guess I need to focus on building this, not just battling the noise. That's the spirit. Let us set up some meetings with local creatives. We can get their input and rally some support. How about you challenge the criticism with a showcase of what this incubator can be? Excitement began to bubble as ideas flowed. Yeah. I could organize a creative workshop to kick things off. Show the community that it's real, that they can benefit. Exactly. And I'll help spread the word. We can turn your vision into a movement. Jamal felt invigorated. He had to take the next step, he couldn't wait for validation. He had to give people a reason to believe. The road ahead might be rough, but his heart pounded with newfound determination. Let us do it, he said, his voice steady with conviction. Let us show them what we can create together. As he ended the call, a wave washed over him. He was still scared, but now it was mixed with excitement. The heart of the incubator was not just his dream, it belonged to everyone willing to step into the light. But even as plans began to form, whispers of doubt gnawed at him. Were the skeptics right to question if it would ever truly succeed? Jamal paced the room, wrestling with these new thoughts. Could passion be enough to overcome the barriers that lay ahead? What if the voices of negativity proved stronger than the hope he was trying to spread? He shook off the thoughts. One step at a time, he muttered to himself, wrestling with rising emotions. Suddenly, he felt a surge of energy. He was not just building an incubator, he was building a community. Stepping outside into the cool evening air, he took a deep breath, ready to face whatever came next. But as he glanced down the street, a figure caught his attention. Could it be an ally or another foe? As he squinted to make out the shadowy form approaching, a familiar wave of uncertainty washed over him. What was waiting in the alley of shadows just ahead? Jamal took a cautious step forward, the adrenaline sparking again in his veins. The figure emerged from the shadows, and his heart raced. As the darkness slithered back, he recognized the face. A familiar one, Tina, a talented artist and a fellow dreamer from the neighborhood. She was known for her raw and electrifying murals. Jamal, she called, relief washing over her features. I heard about your speech. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, Tina. I'm just trying to make a difference, you know? He felt grateful for the encounter. In the glow of the streetlight, she looked vibrant yet troubled. I wasn't sure whether you'd want to meet after everything. I've seen the comments online. They can be brutal. Jamal nodded. Yeah, it's been kind of intense. Tina stepped closer, her voice dropping. I've been feeling the same way with my art. People love it, but some just don't get it. They dismiss us before even trying to understand. Exactly. His shoulders relaxed as she voiced the frustrations lingering inside him. It's hard not to let the negativity get to you. Sometimes it feels isolating. Listen, she said, determination igniting in her eyes. You have the chance to create something big. Don't forget the impact you can have. She gestured toward the city, where passion bled into every corner. This place needs you. It needs all of us. Her words echoed like an anthem in his heart, reviving hope. I want to hold a workshop, bring local artists together. Give everyone a platform. Great idea. We could collaborate, create something inspiring, Tina replied, enthusiasm lighting up her expression. I could pitch in with mural workshops. Show them how art can tell our stories. Jamal's heart swelled. This wasn't just his fight, it was a communal uplift. He had allies ready to back him up. Let us make this happen, Tina. Let us show them what we've got. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted, the challenge felt palpable yet exhilarating. With each new plan, excitement replaced his earlier fears. They began to brainstorm, crafting vivid images of what the workshop could look like, a burst of color, music, and collaboration rising from the ashes of doubt. But amidst this growing eagerness, a subtle unease crept back into his thoughts. Just then, another shadow emerged, this time a larger one. It was a group of young men from the neighborhood, well known for their own small successes but also their critical voices. "Hey, Jamal," one of them called, an edge to his tone that made the air tense. "You think you can just come and save everyone with this incubator nonsense?" Jamal felt his heartbeat quicken. "It's not nonsense. It's about us, lifting each other up." One of the men smirked. "And what s to say you won't fail? Everyone s watching, all ready to laugh when you do." The weight of doubt pressed down on him again. "But what if it works?" He shot back, trying to hold on to the spark inside him. "What if we really can create a community that supports one another?" They exchanged glances, their skepticism palpable. Jamal saw the flickers of interest in their eyes but also the shadows of doubt. The path ahead felt tougher now. Would they ever come around? "Prove it, Jamal. Show us what you can do," one of them called back, dismissively walking away. Jamal turned to Tina, worry etched on his brow. The momentum from before waned, replaced by uncertainty as the group faded into the night. "Do I have what it takes?" he whispered, the doubt crashing back. "Of course you do," Tina insisted. "But maybe this is a sign. You're meant to show people they can change their narratives." His heart pulsed with the weight of their words. The path ahead was unclear, but he felt anchored in something deeper, a need to create, to share, to inspire. What if he could transform that skepticism into belief? The battle was just beginning, and he knew he had to gather more voices, more stories. What came next had the potential to ignite a fire in the community. The question lingered in the air as he stood there, staring down the dimly lit street. How could he rally everyone to fulfill the dream swirling in his heart? Was he destined to lead them or bound to fail in the face of adversity? Jamal stood frozen, the weight of the challenge heavy on his chest. He glanced over at Tina, who seemed to sense the storm brewing inside him. With a determined smile, she placed her hand on his arm. "We can't let them dim our light," she said softly, but with conviction. "It's time to rise above." Her words were like a spark, igniting a flicker of determination. Jamal took a deep breath and nodded. "You're right. We need to give it a shot. It won't just be for us, but for everyone who feels the same way." With renewed resolve, they started discussing their next steps. They would need a space, something vibrant and welcoming. "Maybe the old community center?" Tina suggested. "It has history and spirit." Jamal's eyes lit up. "Yes. We can reclaim that place, fill it with creativity." He imagined bright murals on worn-down walls, people laughing, sharing stories, and celebrating culture. But then the doubts crept back. He remembered the stares and whispers, the doubt of those boys. What if they come back? What if they take it as another opportunity to mock us? Tina squeezed his arm. "Every great change comes with resistance. We just need to show them we're serious." Determined, they jotted down ideas for the workshop, colors and themes splattering across the pages like the paint they would soon wield. "We could invite local musicians, have open mics, and let everyone share their art," Jamal suggested, feeling a swell of belief. Tina nodded, her enthusiasm growing. "And we can use social media. Create a buzz that they can't ignore. Let us make people excited to join us." The night air hummed with dreams, the distant sounds of the city alive around them. Yet, a voice echoed back in Jamal's mind the dismissive comments from that group. Could he really unite everyone? His hands trembled slightly as he wrote, but he forced himself to push through it. Suddenly, as if to match his internal fight, the night sky opened up, stars flickering above them like tiny beacons of hope. Look at that, Tina pointed. It's like they're cheering us on. Jamal chuckled, trying to banish his fears. Alright, I'm in. Let us do this, he declared, adrenaline punctuating his statement. They decided on a date. The workshop would be held in 2 weeks. It was a short time, but excitement bubbled in Jamal's chest, pushing away the fear. He envisioned the faces of those eager to create, souls ready to share and connect. As they said their goodbyes, Jamal felt lighter, the weight of uncertainty lessening. Let us meet tomorrow to plan more, he told Tina. There's so much to do. Absolutely, she replied, her eyes glowing with promise. And I'll spread the word. Everyone needs to hear about this. After parting ways, Jamal walked home under the canopy of stars, the persistence of the city echoing around him. Each step felt stronger, the pulse of doubt slowly fading. But as he neared his street, he spotted something unusual, a gathering in front of the community center. His heart sank. Were they secretly mocking his plans? Jamal took a tentative step closer, his mind racing with possibilities. What if it was just a harmless meeting? Or what if they were planning to sabotage his workshop even before it began? Uncertainty flooded back in, but he planted his feet firmly, resolved to find out. What he'd uncover next could change everything, and he knew he couldn't back down now. Jamal's heart raced as he moved through the shadows, inching closer to the group gathered in front of the community center. He tried to slow his breathing, pushing the doubt that spiraled through him with every step. The buzz of voices became more distinct, laughter floating in the cool night air. Peering around a tree, he noticed familiar faces, some from school, others he recognized from the neighborhood. They weren't in a threatening huddle but seemed animated, caught up in a discussion that sparked occasional bursts of laughter. Maybe they're just, he thought, but before he could finish, someone's voice cut through the chatter. I can't believe they think they can just take it. The community center belongs to us. Jamal's pulse quickened again. He'd heard whispers about a proposed development project aiming to turn the old center into something flashier, something that would overshadow the community's needs. But this? This was the passion he'd hoped for. With his curiosity piqued, he stepped out from behind the tree, letting the moonlight wash over him. What's happening? He called out, his voice steady despite the uncertainty churning in his gut. The crowd turned. A few faces broke into smiles, but most wore expressions of surprise. It was as if they had just been caught sharing a secret. One of the girls, Mia, stepped forward, her face lit with enthusiasm. Jamal. You're just in time. We're organizing a protest against the development plan. We can't let them take our community. The realization hit him like a jolt. This was more than just a meeting, it was a gathering of shared resolve. I didn't know this was happening, he stammered out, flabbergasted by the determination in the air. Of course. We need to ensure that the center stays a safe space for our culture and creativity, Mia said, her eyes shining. We heard about your idea for the workshop and thought this could be a big part of it. It's time for us to fight back. Jamal felt a warmth spreading in his chest, a cohesion he hadn't anticipated. You mean everyone's actually joining together? Exactly. We want you to lead the workshop. If we could rally people for the protest, think of what we could create. A swell of emotion surged through Jamal. Here was the community he loved, ready to stand up for something more significant, ready to reclaim their space. But what if the boys from earlier come back, or worse? He voiced, the tension from earlier flickering back to life. Mia shook her head and stepped closer, her grip on his arm igniting a static of determination. They'll come if we show them we're strong. But together, we can face them down. Let us transform that fear into strength, she said, her voice steady and persuasive. Jamal looked around, seeing the hopeful expressions, the flickers of unity igniting in every person's eyes. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about all of them, a shared dream rising from the ashes of doubt. All right, Jamal said finally, feeling the weight of the moment sink in. Let us do it. We'll fight to keep our community center and turn it into a beacon of creativity. Cheers erupted from the group, their voices joining together, echoing through the night. As the excitement carried through the air, Jamal found himself caught in a wave of energy unlike anything he had felt before. But just as the laughter mixed with ideas floated around him, his phone buzzed audibly in his pocket, disrupting the moment. With a glance, he saw a message flash across his screen, an unknown number. Meet me at the cafe tomorrow. I know something about the development that changes everything. Jamal felt a chill creep up his spine. What was this? And who could it be? As the group continued to buzz around him, the festivity of the night turned tinged with unease. What truth awaited him? What did it mean for their plans? He couldn't shake off the feeling that everything might be about to shift once more. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, but Jamal felt the weight of uncertainty press against him like a thick fog. He couldn't ignore the urgency of the message or the strange nostalgia creeping into his thoughts. Perhaps it had to do with his childhood memories of the cafe, where he spent afternoons with friends, dreaming of the future. Now, that future felt precarious that he excused himself from the crowd, pulling away from the laughter and rallying cries. The protest might have sparked something special, but this email drew him in with an intensity he couldn't shake. What did this unknown person know? Was it someone looking to help, or someone trying to undermine their efforts? Stepping onto the quiet street, Jamal's heart drummed against his chest. He quickened his pace, determined to uncover whatever knowledge this stranger held. As he walked, he replayed the conversations he had just left behind. Every face that had smiled at him, every hand that had rested on his shoulder felt like a promise. Their hopes rested on him now. Arriving at the cafe, he pushed the door open softly, allowing the scent of freshly brewed coffee to wash over him. The warm light from the overhead bulbs created a cozy glow, contrasting sharply with the bracing night outside. He scanned the room, searching for anyone who might glance at him knowingly. After a moment, he spotted a figure tucked away in a corner booth, shrouded in shadows. The face was unfamiliar, but the air around them was undeniably serious. Jamal approached tentatively, curiosity mixed with a hint of dread. "Are you the one who sent the message?" Jamal asked, trying to sound confident, though his voice felt small. The stranger nodded, their expression inscrutable. "Yeah, it's me. I wanted to meet you because what I have to say is important." "Sit down." Jamal hesitated, still unsure of what to make of this sudden twist in his evening. But there was an urgent curiosity pulling him closer. "What do you know about the development?" he asked, sliding into the opposite seat. "There's more to it than just the proposal," the stranger began, leaning in. "The developers have some serious connections and resources. If they get their way, it won't just be the community center at risk. They want the whole neighborhood." The air in the cafe shifted. Jamal felt a cold shiver run through him. "What do you mean?" he pressed, the stranger's voice lowered to a near whisper. "They're planning a series of demolitions. This isn't just about one building. They want to redefine this area entirely. You need to be prepared." Jamal's heart raced. This was bigger than he had imagined. Questions bubbled in his mind, but before he could voice them, the stranger continued. "I can help you, but you need to understand the stakes. You and your friends can't just protest. You need a strategy, alliances, and more than just passion." The weight of her words hung in the air. Jamal's stomach dropped as the enormity of the situation crashed upon him. They weren't fighting just for a building. They were fighting for their home, their community, everything they loved. "Do you want to change the plan?" he asked, his voice stronger than he felt inside. The stranger met his gaze with a fierce intensity. "You need to be willing to do what it takes. Timing is crucial. If we wait, it'll be too late." As the reality of their conversation began to sink in, Jamal felt that pulse of determination again. He was ready to step up for his community, to turn their fears into action. But at what cost? Okay, he said, feeling the resolve building within him. Let us do this. But how? The stranger smiled, a glint of hope in their eyes. First, we need to gather information. Then, we build a plan. And most importantly, we stand united. You'll need to bring everyone else into this. The weight of responsibility felt heavier than before, but Jamal found an ember of hope igniting within him. Just as he thought he had a handle on the situation, a sudden noise interrupted them, the cafe door swung open violently, and a group of gruff figures stepped in, the same boys who had threatened him earlier. Jamal's breath caught in his throat. Looks like we found you, Jamal, the leader sneered, his voice thick with menace. What had he walked into? The tension was palpable, the stakes suddenly much higher. Would he stand his ground for his community, or was he about to see it all fall apart? Jamal felt the room spin. He could either run or fight back. What choice would he make? Jamal's heart raced, each beat echoing louder than the last as he assessed the situation. The cafe, once a sanctuary filled with warmth and hope, now felt like a trap. The group of boys had spread out, filling the small space with an air of intimidation. He took a deep breath, searching for any sign of his ally sitting across from him. The stranger's calm demeanor amidst the chaos brought him a flicker of reassurance. Back off! Jamal shouted, the confidence surging inside him. It surprised even him. You don't own this place. The leader smirked, stepping forward. Oh really? Because it seems like you're the only one here who's not welcome. What's it like knowing you're just wasting your time fighting for something you'll never get? Jamal clenched his fists, the anger bubbling to the surface. He caught the stranger's eye, a nod of encouragement that sparked a thrill of bravery. This moment was bigger than him, it was about all the neighbors, the friends who had rallied behind him. What are you even doing here? The stranger spoke up, her voice steady. This is none of your business. The boys exchanged glances, momentarily surprised. Sorry, sweetheart, the leader said with a mocking tone. But this is the part where we remind Jamal that nobody's going to listen to a scared kid standing in front of a bunch of real men. Jamal felt a rush of heat, a need to stand firm. You think I'm scared? We're not backing down. Not now, not ever. What are you going to do? Intimidate us into silence? Careful, another boy chimed in. You might just find out how bad it can get if you keep pushing. For a split second, doubt flickered in Jamal's mind, but then he remembered the faces of the people who believed in him, the excitement back in the square, their rallying cries resonating in his heart. He wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for a community that deserved a voice, a community that mattered. I'm not afraid of you, he said slowly, meaning every word. And I'm not going to let you destroy what so many of us hold dear. We'll fight together. The tension in the room thickened as the boys moved closer, cautious yet cocky. Jamal heard clinks of coffee cups in the background, the stillness of other patrons filled the air, their eyes flickering from one group to the other. Silence enveloped them, the weight of the moment pressing heavier now. The leader stepped just in front of Jamal, towering over him. You think you can gather your friends and revolutionize a dream? You think anyone cares about your struggle? Jamal held his ground, memories of the community center flickering in his mind. We care. It matters to us. Then, amid the mounting friction, the stranger slid her phone across the table, a soft glow illuminating her face. You want to silence us, not when we have the truth. You can keep your threats, but we're not backing down. The leader hesitated, eyes narrowing in on the device, aware of how this could become public. The uncertainty momentarily shifted the power dynamics in the room. I think you underestimate our resolve, Jamal said, half challenging, half preparing to push further if needed. In that moment, Jamal realized this was no longer just about the cafe or their community center, it was about standing for something greater, something they all believed in. But the leader broke the silence with a sudden chuckle, turning back to his friends while speaking loud enough for everyone to hear. "You're going to need a lot more than just one little cafe to stop us." Jamal's heart sank even lower. What did that mean? Was a threat lurking just beneath the surface? As the boys began to back away, unyielding laughter echoed in his ears, but he regained focus on the path ahead, the urgency pulsing through his veins. Just then, the cafe door swung open again, and someone stepped inside, their presence commanding immediate attention. Who could it be? Was it a friend or one of the enemy making it worse? Jamal's mind raced as he scanned the newcomer. What would this arrival mean for him and his community, where hope teetered on the brink of despair? The light from the door flooded the cafe, momentarily catching each set of eyes. Jamal squinted, trying to make sense of who had just walked in. It was a woman. Her backlit figure was unmistakable as she stepped forward, shaking off the spring chill that clung to her coat. "Jasmine!" Jamal exclaimed, recognizing his neighbor and the community activist. Relief washed over him. If anyone could rally folks together, it was her. Jasmine's eyes quickly assessed the scene. She took in the boys, the tension in the air, and the subtle fear reflected in the eyes of the patrons around them. Without skipping a beat, she approached the table, her demeanor unwavering. "What is going on here?" she asked firmly, her gaze darting between Jamal and the hostile group. The leader smirked. "Just teaching this kid a lesson about knowing his place." Jasmine narrowed her eyes. "And what does that even mean, huh? Trying to shake down a community cafe? Real clever." Jamal's heart raced again, but this time it wasn't just fear, it was excitement mixed with unwavering courage. He could feel the simmering support building behind him. Jasmine had always been a voice for those who felt silenced, and here she was standing right at his side. "Jamal's got a point," Jasmine continued, intensifying her tone. "We're not going anywhere. You think you can walk in here and dictate what we can and cannot defend? This cafe belongs to all of us. It's where we celebrated laughter and shed tears." The boys shifted, their bravado momentarily faltering as more patrons began to emerge from the corners, intrigued and drawn by Jasmine's defiance. It was as if a wave of solidarity began to ripple through the room. The leader scoffed, clearly losing some confidence. "You really think that you can make a difference? Look around. This place is never going to change." Jamal stepped forward, emboldened by Jasmine's presence. "Maybe it starts small, but it's bigger than you can imagine. We're tired of being marginalized. This is our home, our history, and we're tired of outsiders trying to dictate our future." His voice filled with urgency, the whir of passion blending with righteous anger. He looked at the faces around him, friends, neighbors, folks he once played soccer with in the streets. They were all here, silently affirming his words just by their presence. The boys exchanged glances, unease rippling through their once confident postures. It was clear they hadn't expected this kind of resistance. "What, you all think you can just take him on your side?" the leader scoffed. Yet even as he spoke, Jamal noticed the shifting dynamics among his crew. Doubt was creeping in. Jasmine shot Jamal a glance of encouragement. "This isn't just about showing up, it's about standing firm in what we believe. Jamal, remember why you're fighting." Jamal nodded, recalling every late night spent discussing dreams and hopes for their community center, the plans to inspire the younger generation. "Let us do this together." Suddenly, there was a commotion at the back of the cafe. A group of residents had gathered, a mix of ages and backgrounds, all drawn by the escalating confrontation. Filled with unexpected energy, Jamal felt the warmth of unity wrap around him. "You see this?" he shouted, a prompted surge through his soul. "This is what it means to fight for each other. We won't back down, not now, not ever." Before the boys could fully react, the entire cafe erupted into a chorus of support, affirming Jamal's stance. Jasmine smiled, knowing they had made a stand, but the battle was far from over. As the boys exchanged uncertain glances, Jamal's heart throbbed with hope, but questions loomed large in his mind. What would the boys do next? Would they fight back? Or finally understand that together, they were stronger? Just when it seemed like they had some power back in their hands, a sharp, loud thud echoed as one of the boys slammed a fist on the table, a sign the moment was far from over. Could they really fend off the intimidation, or were they inviting more trouble than they were prepared to handle? The vibrations of the trembling cafe settled into a thick, electric silence. Jamal's heart raced as he faced the leader's fiery gaze, challenge shooting through the air. You think you can scare us? Look around, people are here fighting for their community. You're outnumbered, he shot back, feeling the weight of every eye in the room upon him, urging him on. In a split second, the leader stepped back, his bravado wavering. But before Jamal could savor the small victory, the boy's sneer returned, anger flaring in his eyes. You're nothing but a wannabe with a big mouth, he spat. You want to rally the spirits? Fine, go ahead. But we'll still come for what's ours. As the boy's friends shifted nervously around him, an air of doubt enveloped their group. Jamal seized the moment, stepping forward, his words mixing fear with empowerment. What you don't get is that we're not backing down. We're not just defending this cafe, we're defending our pride and our future. People are tired of being silenced, tired of being pushed aside. Jasmine chimed in, her voice rising alongside his. You think we don't have each other's backs? You're mistaken. This community is built on resilience. And you're about to find out what that means. An unexpected spark ignited in the room. Other patrons began to join in, cheers and affirmations echoed within the cafe walls. Jamal watched as more neighbors stood alongside him, their faces lighting up with a shared purpose. It felt like a tide, an undeniable force surging towards one direction, yet the leader, realizing he was losing control, barked angrily, "You all are fools. Just wait. You'll regret this." And with that, the boys turned and stormed out of the cafe, the door slamming behind them like the final beat of a drum. A heavy silence fell again, but this time it was filled with belief and strength rather than doubt. Jamal felt the adrenaline pulse through his veins. He turned to Jasmine, who was grinning brightly. Can you believe it? We held our ground. I told you, Jamal, she replied, pride evident in her voice. This was your moment to shine, and you did. Overwhelmed with joy, Jamal glanced around the cafe, taking in the faces of people who had rallied together, united by conviction. He stepped to the edge of the group, heart swelling as he addressed them. Thank you. Thank you all for standing up. Today we showed them that our voices will not be drowned out. A cheer erupted, and laughter bubbled around him as they embraced the sense of community forged through adversity. But even as the celebration began, Jamal's thoughts circled back to everything at stake. He couldn't dismiss the shadow of uncertainty still lurking in his mind. How would this moment galvanize their fight going forward? Suddenly, the stranger from the cafe meeting previously slid out of the crowd. You all did great, but this is just the beginning, Jamal. You'll need to organize, build real support, and create a strategy. This is our home, and we can't let it go without a fight, she said, conviction ringing firmly in her words. Jamal took a deep breath. Her urgency was a beacon for the path ahead. You're right. I want to hold meetings, gather ideas, and start planning the protest for keeping our community center. As they exchanged contact information, ideas flowed like sweet nectar, the plans shifting into something tangible, buzzed with excitement and belief. Jamal knew they could create signs, invite local media, and rally even more supporters. They had ignited a fire, and now it was time to fan the flames into an inferno of action that could not be ignored. As the cafe emptied, only the echoes of laughter and promises of future meetings remained. Jamal felt a weight lift as he stepped outside. The night air kissed his cheeks, the stars shone brightly overhead, and for the first time in weeks, he felt an unshakable optimism blooming within him. As he walked home that evening, a spirit of determination surged through him. This was their fight, he felt the pulse of his community in every step. And every face in his mind became a confirmation of the needs he was fighting for, those children dreaming, the mothers hoping for a better tomorrow, the artists wanting their voices heard. Then and there, he made a silent vow. They would reclaim their community, one vibrant workshop, one mural, one protest at a time. With renewed fervor, Jamal envisioned the incubator alive with energy, creativity, and acceptance, a thriving hub that birthed dreams and transformed lives. A place that would stand tall against the tides of dismissal, a lighthouse cutting through the darkness. In the distance, he could almost hear those sounds, the laughter, the chatter, the endless creativity waiting to burst forth. Together, they would illuminate the streets of their dreams, transforming the shadows into radiant brilliance. With each passing day, Jamal knew, he would become a leader not just for himself but for the countless others who believed in a brighter future. This was just the beginning, and no storm could ever wash that hope away. Now it's your turn. If you believe in the power of community, transformation, and standing strong together, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below with your feelings about this powerful ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. We are all in this fight together.